And we're live. Hey friends. Sorry I'm late. I was supposed to be starting this almost an hour ago. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. You're gonna love this quickie live stream topic. It's so potent and powerful. And when you really get it, you're gonna have so many breakthroughs. It's really gonna you're gonna feel so empowered and so clear and certain and like a little kid on Christmas every single day. It's that good. When you get this, when you get what I'm going to tell you on this quickie live stream. So, hi everyone. I just had back-to-back Zooms that went a little longer, but they were really good. It's a cold day and I don't like the cold. Hello from a beautiful fall day here in Wisconsin. So if you watch the replay, this is one to share with others. This is going to uplift so many people. When you really get this, you're going to feel so empowered. So let's get to it, right? And if you saw my post, I actually had two posts earlier. One of them, what a lot of people resonated with, which tells me people are up-leveling as a soul, ascending, up-leveling their consciousness and expanding through growth, who they are, knowing who they truly are on their journey here of self-discovery and self-mastery. A lot of people resonated with this. And what today's theme is about, and I'm going to cover this in more detail soon, is how we perceive reality is how we create reality. In fact, I'm going to write this down. I'll type it into our notes here in the content above this live stream. How we perceive reality is how we create reality. And that's how powerful we are. When we are masterful creators, we all are creating everything from our inner, consciousness. Our consciousness, our inner world creates our outer world. It's not the other way around. And then that's the thing, is so many people have the misconception it's the outer world and they give all the attention and strength and power to the outer world when it's them on the inside. Our consciousness that's creating everything. And when you get that, holy moly, you realize how powerful you are as the master creator, creating all of it, and all of it serves us in our journey of rapidly evolving or slowly evolving. It's fine either way because we're infinite. It's all perfect. However, as those who are awakening now and wanting to exist more as who they truly are, which is a masterful creator, a metaphysician, the master alchemist, turning everything, all lead into gold. Kind of like Midas touch. We're turning lead into gold, and the lead that we have, the contrast, the bad experiences, the painful trauma, this, that, right? We've all preordained and set up a pre-blueprint before we incarnated for ourselves to experience, because we need that jolt. We need that contrast, like that slingshot effect. We need to go to the depths of hell before we can reach to heaven. And that is such a great metaphor, but there's some truth to that. Like, how can you appreciate heaven if you haven't been to hell? So from that contrast standpoint, a lot of us have experienced some really difficult things in this existence. Hey John, how are you? Thanks for joining. And that is for the greater good. We've set those forth for ourselves to wake up, to remember who we truly are, to keep expanding and growing, because you don't want to stay stagnant or live in the matrix like Neo in his pod, like all comfy in there, not knowing that you're not really existing, right? We need to scratch and claw our way out of that pod to see that the matrix exists, right? And the matrix is just another analogy. And you realize how powerful you're. Like, I've been creating the matrix. So when I say however you perceive reality is how you create it. Hey Donna, how's it going? My dear friend Donna from Australia, who's out traveling the world right now. In Turkey, I think, on her way to Greece. You're going to love this, Donna, and your kids are going to get this too. So let's imagine, and I'm going to use myself, I'll throw myself under the bus on this one. as an example. Let's imagine that someone is perceiving, their perception of reality is fearful and scared and anxiety, and someone's always out to get me, and I'm a victim, and everything bad happens to me, boo-hoo, right? Victim blame mentality, scared, fearful, suspicious of everybody. Well, because that's their perception of reality, and they're creating it from their perception, what do you think they're going to create? What is this person who's living in fear and anxiety and suspicion going to create that's going to manifest exactly into their reality? Is what their perception is. That inner world that they're broadcasting out is going to become form. So they're going to have somebody rob them or embezzle money or break their heart or do all these things that they're worrying about, and creating all that perception and energy and focus. Like they're using their imagination for the worst. Worrying is the worst way that we bleed our life force, by the way. Worrying is number one. And how many people spend all day worrying? They're using their God-given imagination and life force to create that which they don't desire. So the people that are out there talking about their illness and their health problems all day long, perceiving the world as not well and not trusting, what do you think? Because of how they're perceiving reality and casting that out with their energy and their focus, that is going to be their experience in the world, because they're creating how they're perceiving, right? So here's where I'm going to throw myself under the bus. By the way, cheers. Hey, Donna, you're in Turkey. I know I saw your pictures and videos. Here's my green smoothie of the day. Ooh, that's good. Happy cells, dancing for joy. Did you have your green smoothie today? By the way, Donna, I have some places in Athens and off the coast in the Greek Isles that I want to send some ideas for you that I know your kids are going to love. Anyway, so me throwing myself under the bus, there was a time where I faced the world. My perception of reality was adversarial. I viewed the public as a threat and competition. Who sees the world as competition? That's a big one right now, especially for the people in like hustle and grind. I perceived adversarial and me against them, me against the world, and treating everyone very separate, which is a lie. That is not the truth at all. We are all one, and that's simply ego. Okay, that's one who does not truly know themselves. So they're still on that journey of self-discovery. So I went through that, and guess what I manifested in my physical reality? My inner world created my outer world. And I created adversarial people. People that wanted to fight me on this and that, and bump heads, and haters and trolls, and, you know, very misaligned relationships and business and friendship and even like, you know, love. And that was not a good feeling at all. In fact, that sucked. That's like that angst, right? And the anger and the frustration. Ego. I'll admit it. But if I'm sharing this as an example, so I want you to see that a lot of people will do this. Maybe you're hearing this and you're thinking, I know somebody who does that, or maybe I am doing it, maybe not from an adversarial when the public is a threat, or that I'm going to get some disease and illness or catch this and that, and I'm fearful about, out there and germs. It could be something, I'll use this example. Something as simple as, I perceive my reality, and this is like self-talk, I'm never lucky. I'm one that never has luck, and I don't win anything. I'm not one of those winning people. I'm not lucky. Well, guess what? The more one embodies that inner world, that perception, right? Perceiving themselves as not lucky, just as a simple example. I mean, we could use examples, you know, endlessly here. They're not going to win anything, and they're going to be probably unlucky, because that perceiving is their inner world. That's everything. And the inner world creates the outer world. not the other way around. When you get that, you're like, holy shite. Shite, my Scottish. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm literally creating all these things that I don't desire. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up quick. This is going to be a quickie live stream. Thanks, Donna. I'm so glad to have you on here. You're having a green smoothie and I'm having wine. We're going to that Greek island you said. Oh, Agana, you're going to love it. I'm so glad, Donna. It's a beautiful ferry ride from the Athens port as well. I can tell you even how to get down there, but you guys are intrepid world travelers, you know. So quick story, I made this post this morning, which is why Donna and I are talking about Greece. After my first Camino, I found myself accidentally, I mean, I don't believe in accidents, it's all synchronicity. I was hanging out in Italy, Milan, other places. I was in Lake Como, here, there, and then all of a sudden had an opportunity to go to Athens. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I've never been to Greece. So I just hopped on a plane the next day. I bought that ticket, went to Athens, loved Athens, and then took a ferry after a week in Athens out to this little island in the Greek Isles called Agana. Was gonna stay for a couple days. I ended up staying a month. And not the best time ever. It was like the most blissed out. If you could even create it with your imagination, and our imagination is powerful. I want to talk about that in a second. I probably couldn't even have imagined how awesome, how epic, how blissed out in every possible way that month was going to be in Greece, in the Greek Isles. I had put it out into the universe the day before with such blissed out, thankful energy, and then I let it go. I didn't hold on to it. I didn't try to pound it into existence. I just released it to God and said, this or better. I let the universe dazzle me, and the universe really dazzled me. And some of you know that story about me in Greece, and you're like, how does that happen? See, our inner perception of reality, you know, and also letting it go could be this or better. Allow the universe to dazzle you. Right? So I wasn't creating inner turmoil, thinking I'm never lucky, nothing good ever happens to me, nothing works out for me. I once realized that I was saying that. I picked up that from someone in my family. I'm never lucky, I never win anything. Well, guess what I'm creating? More of that. I'm instilling exactly what my inner world is. And I said one day, I'm changing that. And I started changing, like imagining that I'm lucky with everything. I have the Midas touch. Everything I touch turns to gold. I'm lucky. I win all kinds of things. I have the winningness to everything. La la la. And I remember right when I switched that self-talk, that inner world that I was now broadcasting to the multiverse, because our inner world creates our outer world. We're that powerful. I made that one little switch, and you know what happened? Like a couple days later, I was at a Christmas party for a company I was working at. And, you know, just having a good time, relaxing, good food, good wine. And I was like walking out from the bathroom, and I had one girl who worked in HR. We're still friends. She came running after me. She was like, Amie, you have to go to the grand ballroom now. I'm like, okay. So I went in, and as soon as I walked in, I heard my name being called from stage, and everyone was clapping. I'm like, what happened? And they're like, you won the grand prize, which is 2 round-trip tickets for 2 people anywhere. Like, okay, so do you think that I would have won that if I was still, in my perception of reality, broadcasting, putting out into the multiverse? I win nothing. I'm so unlucky. No, I had to release that and switch it up. Switch up my perception. So anyway, so when you get that, so really take a look, dissect yourself rigorously. What perceptions are you putting out there? And wouldn't it feel better to make them exactly that which you desire without any limitations, no BS programming attached to it? Not, I'm not worthy, or that can never happen to me, or I'm unlucky. Drop all that BS and just focus only purely on the greatest potentiality. Whether it's your health or your money, relationships, travel, whatever it is, just have fun with the imagination process of what you enjoy that inner world to look and feel like, and feel it, really feel it. So one thing I'm going to leave with you, and by the way, if you're watching this on the replay, share some comments, share this live stream with others. People will love you for that. This is like the good stuff to get out into the world. And people are becoming who they truly are, the powerful metaphysicians and creators and alchemists that they truly are. They've just forgotten, and now this is going to jolt them in the most amazing way, wake them up to who they really are. We want to remember. We want to be back in our power. We are so powerful. And many are waking up to this right now. I do this all the time, but today was just, it was a high. It was like orgasmically awesome. It felt so good what I did this morning. It was orgasmic. And if you're just joining the live stream right now and you're like, what on earth is Amie talking about? Stay with me. You're going to love it. So I went out on one of these, I call them like imagination walks. And I just let to my heart's desire run crazy with some fantasy visualization. Now, with all the power behind it and clarity and high vibration and frequency, it is a massive potentiality in the quantum realm that I just simply have to align with frequentially, and it's going to, boom, manifest. So I went through this whole, 45-minute walk of one of the most amazing imaginations, and I didn't edit or modify or limit myself whatsoever, and it's just gorgeous and beautiful and blissed out. Like I said, orgasmic. It was so good. And I was like riding this high because one of the things that I love getting into the frequency of is being the generous one, like radically generous, not just to friends and family, which is fun, but around the world, radically generous. And I go on a high imagining that about my impact and the joy that I can bring to other people's lives, and also the freedom, because people desire freedom like the air in their lungs. And I was on this orgasmic high for 45 minutes in my own inner world, which is projected in creating my outer world. And it was just the most amazing feeling. I didn't want it to stop, but I had to I got to hop on a couple of Zooms, which were awesome. Especially the first one. You know who I'm talking about if you're watching this. A new friend on Facebook that when you meet someone and you're completely aligned, and it's like your tractor beams just pulled you into each other's existence. And we just had to meet. So we hopped on a Zoom today, and it was like, I like you. Have you ever had that when you just meet somebody and you're like, and you can tell them, you're like, I really like you. And it's not a romance thing. It's just, it's alignment. It's frequency. Speaking the same frequential language and energy. And I told him, I'm like, man, I like you. And he's like, oh, this feeling's the same. So I got to go on 2 really good Zooms right after my walk. But I was going into those Zooms on a high. And so this is an energy that I want you to play with if you resonate. So here's your mission, should you choose to accept it. Mission impossible. Tonight, before you go to sleep, I want you to pre-plant your dreams, and you can do this. I've done courses on this, master classes on this alone as a lucid dreamer. And I also have mastered a lot around my brainwaves. Another topic. Pre-plant your dreams and ask whatever higher power you resonate with, fill in the blank, to help you get clear and even step into this quantum jump into this new version of self. All right? You're jumping into this new version of self. So allow yourself to go hog wild, crazy with this imagination before you go to sleep. We get into that nice alpha doozy state, right? Brainwaves. And allow yourself to imagine a better, greater version of self. It could be the one I talked about, like the most generous one, or one who's completely at peace and no longer fearing everything or suspicious or highly abundant or healthy. Whatever it is, have fun imagining going through life like that, and all the things that you would do and be and give and people you'd interact with. Really get into the juice, let the juices flow with that imagination, with that fantasy, if you will, because if you can imagine it, if you can conceive it, is now a potentiality in the quantum field. So we're just aligning with the ones that we feel most connected and, frequentially aligned with, versus creating from default, which is what most people are doing. Their perception of reality is shite, is crap, my Scottish accent, is fearful, is scarcity, lack, which is a lot of people. Nay, we're moving away from that and we're creating powerfully as the metaphysicians and alchemists that we are. So tonight, here's the mission, so you choose to accept it, from Amie Chilson, and I would love to hear your feedback on this, truly. Like, that's the only thing that I ask for in return. Actually, two things. I have two strings attached. Feedback, I would love to hear your feedback when you've tried this experiment. And number two, share this live stream with other people, because they're going to want to see it. Share it to your wall, share it to people's inboxes. Let's all play with this experiment. So you're going to get into that nice, just blissed out, higher version of self in whatever way that feels good for you. And when you wake up tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up in that state, that quantum jump self, in whatever way that is. And like you are putting on your clothes, jumping into your clothes, your wardrobe for the day, you're putting on that, you're already in that new version of self. And then go out about your day, clear from that new energy, that new perception of what reality is going to be, but from here on the inner side, right, which is what creates the outer, and go walk around in this new version of self and be that energy, embody it fully, and enjoy it. And you're going to notice, like, shit's going to happen. People are going to notice, like, what's different about you? It could be small or it could be really monumental, but people are going to notice there's something different about you. Your energy, your embodiment, how you're handling certain things. Maybe you would have gotten triggered or angry, and now you're like, I am like a Zen monk now. Or all of a sudden, you win the lottery tomorrow. Whether it's $1 on a scratcher or 10 million. Or you meet, someone for a great first date, or a new business partner. Or all of a sudden, things in your household with your kids and your dogs and your pets and your spouses are just harmonious and flowing. And you're like, what on earth? But of course it is, because this is the inner world that I am now embodying, like putting on a wardrobe, this quantum jumping self that I wake up as, that I took with me since last night. Ooh, this is so potent. You feel the energy behind this? You can change your world, your life, in one day. So I highly encourage you, this is your mission, from me to you, play with this experiment, share this live stream, let's all play with this experiment, and then report back. Because things are going to move in your life in the most amazing way. And I have seen it and experienced it happen in mine again and again, thereby showing me evidence and proof that this is true, this works. And so many famous ancient alchemists and masters throughout time and space, we have learned from them, well, at least in this incarnation, right, that it's like you master the inner world, you master your consciousness, and then everything else is going to shift in our three-dimensional, four-dimensional world outside of us. And it can happen like that. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Thanks for joining. If you missed this, go back and watch from the beginning. If you can master this, everything is going to change for the better in your life. So go back and watch from the beginning, watch a couple times, share this video out into the world, play with it. This is not just some inspirational philosophy. That's not how I operate. Everything's about taking inspired action, because that's how we create transformation and change. And it's fun. What a fun experiment this is. So play with it, try it on for size, starting tonight before you go to sleep, tomorrow throughout the day. Be observant of how everything is going to start shifting around you, including the people. I mean, we are molding energy into form right now with our inner world, with our perception of reality. We are creating it. So when you get how powerful you are, you start realizing, I got some stuff to clean up. And you want to, right? Because we're the powerful alchemist and metaphysician. And watch how things are going to shift in your life. Mwah. I love you. I don't know when my next live stream is or my next video, but thanks for joining us. Share this video. If you're watching on the replay, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And oh, thanks for the stars, guys. I love it when people send me stars. You know what? Anytime that you're generous and that you send energy in the form of stars or gifts or contributions, know that you're just giving back to yourself, because giving and receiving are the same. Okay? And as I said earlier, it feels amazing to be generous. It's a high. To me, I always equated it to orgasmic. To be radically generous feels so amazing. You're giving to so-called others, right? You're giving to yourself. So I'm going to leave you with that to chew on, to ponder, to marinate. Mwah! Much love, and I'll see you on the next video.